Don't have enough time, do the short version. Don't have enough energy, do the easy version. Find a way to show up and not put up a 0 for that day, because doing something is almost always infinitely better than doing nothing. And so eventually what you get to here is realizing that in a lot of ways, the bad days are more important than the good days. It's actually the bad workouts, the ones where I don't really feel like doing much or I don't have much time, but I get in there and I just do like a couple sets of squats and then I'm done in 20 minutes. That day counts for more because I showed up and I didn't put up a 0 than the days when I got a ton of time and do a full workout. And so people get real excited and amped up about their habits. They want to come up with this like perfect version. What could I do? If I achieve peak performance, what would that look like? What could I do on my best day? But instead, I think it's often better to ask, like, what could I stick to even on the bad days? And that becomes your baseline. That's where you start from. And then on the good days, great, you got capacity, go ahead and ramp it up. But what can you stick to even on the bad days, I think is a good place to start.
Yeah, I more and more think that one of the dangers of quote unquote optimization, which in my view is also a poorly understood term. I think optimization is optimization for the moment in the day or the hour, not some perfect ideal. But one of the downsides to the availability of like over-the-counter stimulants and energy drinks and tutorials of how to focus, of many of which I talk about online and elsewhere, is that most people who are in some sort of pursuit, writing or school or otherwise, experience the perfect flow, quote unquote, or groove of being really in the zone. And then they're always chasing that. And anything that's below that feels like it wasn't worthwhile. I really like the way that you framed that, getting something in on the days when you're less than optimal or far less than optimal is actually where you change yourself in a way that makes those optimal days more available. That's what I'm hearing. That playing hurt teaches you how to play well under great conditions, or play even better under great conditions.
Consistency enlarges ability, right? And so by being more consistent, you enlarge your capacity to handle more. You enlarge your ability and broaden your skill set. You build your base of strength to handle the harder thing later. To be consistent means you show up on the days when it's not perfect. In many ways, I feel like that's the only place that you gain an edge. The easy days, everybody works out on the easy days. Everybody does it when they feel good. Everybody does it when they have time and energy and capacity. It's who is doing it when it's not optimal. That's the only place that you gain separation. And so figuring out ways to show up even when the circumstances aren't ideal, even if it is less than you ultimately hope to do, ends up being a real win.
What you just said, I think, is so critical, that people hear that, there's a perfect state that they're pursuing, or that it takes 50 days to develop a habit, or 29 days, and we could explore that whole thing as its own discussion.